Yo YouTube, what's up? I'm Tim, he's AC, this is a Kashkelly and AC Sports Report. NL East preview, pitchers and catchers have come. We will be previewing all divisions, but we're starting here in NL East. 5th place, who do you have?
I got the Mets in 5th place. They have, like you said when we were discussing this beforehand, they have a lot of talent. You got Jose Reyes there, but I just don't see them coming together as a team. They have, what is it, like the 3rd highest payroll, and they can't do anything with it.
Oh, I think it's dropped. It's only at like 100-some million. They had a few contracts come off the book. They're going to be having the Carlos Beltran thing. I mean, the Mets aren't far off. I just think the Mets need to realize that it's not all about building through free agency. You have to start through the farm system and surround through free agency. I don't think they get that. That being said, though, I have the Washington Nationals in 5th place. I think the Mets are very underrated this season. And I was going to go through all the lineups, but I think that's kind of a waste of time. I think the bottom line for the Nationals is they have a guy who I think can break out this year, Jordan Zimmerman, but he's their 4th starter. Livan Hernandez is their 1st starter. Ryan Zimmerman and Jason Worth are really the only people in that lineup that stand out to me. Ian Desmond can hit, but he was really a pretty poor shortstop last year. I think he led the league in errors.
He was a real defensive nightmare, but once he gets up to the plate, he can do a lot of things.
Quite frankly, they should probably just move him over to second base. I think they feel he has potential at short still. 4th place, who do you have?
I have the Nationals in 4th place for basically the same reason that you said. They have, Bryce Harper, who's not going to be in the system until 2020, but they have Strasburg, who probably isn't going to be around for...
No, there's no reason for them to rush him back this season. They're not going to contend. There's no need for it.
They have the pieces there for the future.
They got to keep adding the pieces, though.
Yeah.
They can't be like the Pirates, where you got 3 pieces and then the rest is just...
nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing else there.
4th place for me, I got the Marlins. I got them at about a 79-80 win season. I mean, they're not a terrible team, but Josh Johnson's a beast. He's a nice pitcher. Ricky Nolasco's... I keep waiting for this guy to take that next step, and I've just come to the conclusion he's really a 3rd starter, and I thought he had the ability to be a number 2 starter.
Oh, there's no question that he has talent. It's just he's not going to... It's become very clear that he's not going to be an elite pitcher.
Hanley Ramirez, great hitter, tremendous player. I don't understand how this guy flies under the radar. Probably the 2nd best player in baseball. A guy they really need to come back is Chris Coughlin. He had the sophomore slump. And a guy to watch out for, Mike Stanton, beast. We saw some of what he had. This guy is going to be a talented major league hitter someday. I don't know if it'll be with the Marlins, but he'll be talented. 3rd place, who you got?
3rd place, I got the Marlins. I got them a little bit above the Nationals. I got them like an 83-84 win season. For the same reasons that you said. Stanton's going to be a beast this year, probably. And they got Hanley Ramirez. I just don't think they have the complete pitching lineup.
Yeah, they don't have the complete pitching. That is the problem with them. 3rd place, I got the New York Mets at about an 83-84 win season, basically same as you said. You look at the Mets lineup, and it's pretty stacked. David Wright's a beast. Jason Bay, I think everyone wants to call that contract a bust. It's not a bust yet. It has the potential to be.
It can be, but it's not
the bottom line, when you're playing in the Grand Canyon, no one's going to be hitting home runs there. Jose Reyes is in his contract year. We'll have to see where that goes. I tend to think they'll lock him up unless this Madoff suit blows up in their face.
I don't know, because if this Madoff suit ends up being as bad as they say it's going to be, you never know what's going to happen with the Reyes situation. They might need the money. They may need to ship him off somewhere.
The Mets' Achilles heel, though, has got to be their pitching. Johan Santana is going to be out till at least mid-year, and Johan Santana, he's still an A pitcher. Let me phrase it. He's still a 1B, but he's not a 1A anymore. He's not the Roy Halladay, Ubaldo Jimenez, that type of pitcher.
We're not taking away from him that he's a great pitcher, but he's not what he once was.
No, and they got lucky with a few guys last year. Mike Pelfrey, I think he's a pretty good pitcher, but I think he started off a little better than he is. I think this is a guy you talk about winning 14 games. R.A. Dickey, come on. That was a fluke last season. The guy's 34 years old. He had one good season.
He pulled that season out of his ass.
Yeah, he might end up having another good season, but I just don't see it. Second place, who do you have?
I think we both have the Braves in this one.
I got the Braves.
I got the Braves fighting for their lives, maybe like an 80 88, 89 win season. But there's no toppling the Phillies, obviously.
I think 88 or 89 win season's a bit too far. I'm going to go like 86, 87 win season, and probably missing the playoffs by a game or two.
Yeah.
They have ability there. They have Chipper Jones. I'm not 100% sure what the deal is. They're moving Prado to the outfield. He had a great season last year. We'll have to see what happens there. They have a pretty nice. They have a really nice pitching staff.
Yeah.
With guys like Tim Hudson, Jair Jurgens, Tommy Hanson. I think he could be an amazing pitcher. I picked him to win the Cy Young last year, and he just ended up having
Let me just say that I watched him in AAA when he came to the Iron Pigs.
The ball.
Oh my God.
The ball just drops with him. I mean, he has so much potential out there. I could certainly see this guy winning 20 games at some point.
Absolutely, no doubt.
Is that point this year? Probably not. The Braves' biggest thing is their first base position. I mean, I know Derek Lee sucked, but to bring in who they have there at first base, I didn't even look. He's supposed to be a good talent, but I mean, I'm just not sold that he's going to be ready this year. Jason Hayward, I mean, this guy's a 5-tool player, but he's still not quite at that point. He's probably at the point this year where he'll hit about 25 home runs. I mean, Jason Hayward, the sky's the limit. He's only like 23 years old. He's got a ton of time. This is going to be one of the guys we see in baseball for a long time.
He can go really, really far in his baseball career. Just this year's a little bit too early to be talking about him that big, though.
He's not in the top 15. He might be in the top 15. Yeah. He's not in the top 10, but he's knocking on the door, and he'll be there probably next year.
Yeah.
First place, Phillies. I got about. People are saying they're going to win 110. I got about 95, 96 wins, similar to last season. I mean, things are going to go wrong. You're going to have to fight through some injuries, maybe. But let's look at this. I think people are saying the Phillies are so old. Let's start with the pitching staff. Halladay, 34 years old. He just won the Cy Young, so I don't really see too much of a problem there. Cliff Lee's 32. The guy's been on top of it the last few years. He's got 2 or 3 seasons in him. Roy Oswalt, he's so old that he was able to go 8-1 after coming to the Phillies last season. So, I mean, injuries got concern you a little bit with him, but the record was a fluke.
The records and the ERA speak for themselves.
I mean, he had like a 2.6 ERA. People wanted to give CeCe the Cy Young with a 3 ERA, and I know he played in the American League East, but he also wasn't having the Houston Astros run support either. I think Jimmy Rollins, is he going to be MVP? No, but he's in a contract year, and he's going to do better than he's done.
If he can
hit 10 home runs and drive in 60-some RBIs and just do what this team needs him to do, then they're fine.
Well, if they keep him in the leadoff spot, which I think they should. I think they should keep him in the leadoff spot because I think that's where he's most productive.
That's where he's always been.
That's where he's always been. Is where he's most productive.
The bottom line, Ryan Howard's still a monster. I don't know where the hell people are coming out with it. The guy hit 31 home runs. He missed a month of the season, and he was injured basically the last month of the season. He would have hit 40 home runs again. So where this he's slowing down crap is coming from, I just don't get it. Chase Utley, is he slowing down a bit to the point where he's not going to bat 280 or 290 and hit 30 home runs anymore?
No, there's no way. There's no way.
I think he is a little bit, but is anyone going to be too mad if he hits 270 and hits 24 home runs? Like,
I'll be satisfied with a 275 batting average and 25 home runs.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line, this guy's got to step up. Right field, I think Ben Francisco has potential, but you can't rely on this guy too much. Dominic Brown, I still think needs some time in the minors to get things together. He needs to switch that batting stance. The bottom line, he's never going to be able to hit major league pitching with the bat up like this.
Looks like Craig Counsell.
Well, not quite that far. He's not standing on his toes, but he's getting there.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Raul Ibanez is 59 years old, but it's his last year with the team. He's in a contract year. He won't be back next season if he wins the MVP. I mean, he's just not coming back.
No.
I mean, he can still do it. I think if the Phillies are smart, and everyone's talking about how they're going to do this order, have Ibanez hit 3 in front of Howard because he'll see pitches, and then move Utley to 5th because they'll walk Howard, he'll have 2 guys on, and Utley will have a chance to do some damage. I mean, the bottom line is going to come down to production, but...
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
With Ibanez.
Yeah, I think Ibanez 3rd makes the most sense. I mean, people want to talk about Polanco 3rd or 5th. I mean...
No, Polanco's not a 3 hitter.
He's not that type. He's a hitter, but he's not...